At its most basic, Lethal League Blaze is the modern Pong clone you never knew you wanted. Taking the basic hit a ball back and forth from one side of the screen to the other gameplay, adding in a beat 'em up feel and sprinkling a generous helping of jet grind radio on top. But why does this multiplayer game fail where Smash Bros succeeds? I'm going to let you know in my review of Lethal League Blaze on the Nintendo Switch. It gets mentioned a lot in the same breath as this game, but Lethal League Blaze really does borrow heavily from Jet Grind or Jet Set Radio, depending from which side of the pond you're on. The neon-inspired spray can graphical style, the banging electronic soundtrack, the urban locales and even some of the characters could all have been lifted directly from the next in Sega's long-running dormant skating series. Assuming it was an obvious decision from developers Team Reptile, then it wasn't the worst idea at all. The game pops off at the eShop begging to be bought, and once installed it continues to impress. The premise explained in the game's fairly basic story mode is that a hugely popular ball sport that once flourished has now been driven deep underground due to its violent leanings and the small fact that a competitor was killed during the last rounds of official competition. The sport now exists in an underground form played by only the most hardcore players in any urban locations they can find before being chased off by the police. Matches in the Lethal League take place between 2 to 4 players, which can be local, online or AI controlled, where the most basic setups are one-on-one affairs, with players trying to knock each other out by hitting their opponent with a ball. Each character will do this in different ways, with the character Raptor using an old school baseball bat, the robot Switch swinging his skateboard around, and the quite superbly disturbing Candyman using his cane. Each hit of the ball will speed it up a notch until it's flying around the screen at an impossible rate. If you were the last person to hit it, the ball gains a halo in your player's colour, meaning it cannot do you any harm. Thankfully, the ball can also be caught by holding down X, which adds a nice little twist to being able to stop the action. Like every move in the game, this is a timing-based mechanic, and your window of opportunity to grab the ball feels like only a second long before your grabbing animation resets, allowing you to take a ball square in the face if mistimed. I like this, as it meant even grabbing the ball was a skill, and you couldn't just hold down the grab button until the ball nestled into your hands. Whilst at its core it is a twist on Pong as I mentioned, there's a lot of deeper gameplay strategy going on than first appears, with the ability to catch and bump the ball as well as hit it at various angles and speeds. Your player builds a special meter during play, allowing for devastating special moves to be unleashed, and there's also a drone type device that flies overhead during the match, which, if you can land the ball inside, you'll gain a powerful power up which you can pretty much guarantee you the next point, or in some cases heal you as long as you're the person holding onto the ball. Landing the winning shot in a rally will often reward the player with a really cool zoomed in Matrix-esque slow-mo of the killing blow set against a cool primary coloured background. These are really well done, and I love seeing them pop up as I took my opponents out. There are 11 different characters in the Lethal League, with some being unlocked as you play, and whilst their weapon of choice has no bearing on the way the ball is hit, the variety in their look is welcome. Each character is full of unique charm and really well animated. A lot of effort has gone into the character design, especially considering the game's indie status. I love the Candyman and his crazy leg blurring walking animation. Graphically, the game is really impressive as well, with the nicely animated backgrounds that employ parallax scrolling to the chunky black outline characters that have many unique animations. I did have some performance issues though, unfortunately, especially in handheld where the frame rate is a rather inconsistent 30 frames per second and feels like it's fluctuating downwards a lot, especially in the more hectic matchups. I've reached out to the developers who have told me that it's an area they're working on and they hope to improve it in a patch, bringing handheld up to the 60 frames per second of docked mode. The frame issues and lag are generally poor across the board in online too, which is where this game tends to shine, but I just couldn't stick with it after trying around 10 matches. As it stands at the time of the review, you can only join a quick 4-player match, and there are no options to allow you to create a one-on-one matchup, and this brings me to the biggest issue I had with Lethal League Blaze. 4-player matches, whether playing local or online, are just too chaotic to be any fun. The match area is set within one single static screen, and where this works really well for one-on-one matches, with 4 players it just becomes a mess. Once the ball starts flying around and everyone is jumping and swinging with their bats, it's just pot luck if you get hit or if you hit somebody else. Any semblance of strategy just goes out the window and the game turns into a button mashing game of hit and hope. Where 4-player fighting games work in something like Super Smash Bros, due to the large stages that allow players to retreat from the action and take stock of the battlefield, the claustrophobic setting in Lethal League is its worst enemy. I really enjoy the one-on-one matchups immeasurably more than adding in more and more players. If you can stick to those one-on-one battles, there is a lot to like in Lethal League. The basic beat-em-up style matches are complemented by some unlockable modes, namely a volleyball style game and another sporting variation which sees each player trying to score goals by hitting the target behind the other player. I really enjoyed this, as you had to be careful not to leave your target wide open, and as much time was spent ensuring you were defensively solid as well as attacking the other player's goal. The bare bones online mode definitely needs a bit of work, and again the developer has told me they are looking into this and looking to at least add the option to create different match types, which is sorely needed. Apparently there are some issues with the infrastructure of the Nintendo Switch, which means the game will not be getting a ranked mode as it has on other platforms. Rounding off the package is a pretty comprehensive number of rewards to unlock by gaining in-game XP. You can spend some of this on a large number of alternate costumes for each character, new modes, locations and music tracks. So there's definitely plenty here for the completionists to come back to. So in summary, Lethal League Blaze is a fast-paced game that is 75% beat 'em up and 25% sport game, although there are 2 unlockable modes which allow the sports side to shine through a bit more. I think some sort of season mode would have been quite nice to have alongside the story mode, but that's probably just my own wishful thinking. Frame rate inconsistencies can spoil the experience, especially in handheld mode, where the frame rate is currently half of the docked mode, and some online lag make matches tough to play. The online mode is a very limited offering in the Switch version, and it may mean you skip this mode altogether for now and just stick to local multiplayer. Matches featuring 4 characters are too chaotic to be enjoyable, but one-on-one matchups can be really fun with the game's cool art style and general cool aesthetic really shining through, and it's a game that really rewards skill and fast reactions. I can see future patches continuing to improve this game, and it will probably be one of those games that I'll revisit when a few things are fixed and added, but for now I'm going to be giving Lethal League Blaze on the Nintendo Switch a solid 7 out of 10. Please subscribe if you liked this review or found it useful, and until next time I'll see you again soon. Thanks everyone, bye bye.